Hey there, I'm going to share with you today a few reasons why homeschooling needs poetry and why you need to add poetry to your homeschooling days. So one major reason is worksheets are not needed. That's right, worksheets. They can be abolished from the world of poetry and something your children can look forward to because a lot of kids out there really don't enjoy doing worksheets. There's nothing more mundane than sitting in a seat to enjoy a subject. So with poetry, you can do things as simple as cuddle up with your kids on the couch in the morning before you have breakfast. It could be at the breakfast table. It could be at bedtime. It could be in the car. It could be something to save the day when you feel like the homeschooling day has gone completely out of control and there's nothing left you feel like you can do to save it. So poetry is a nice, wonderful tidbit that you can add to your homeschooling that will completely transform things and start to introduce your children to some major, awesome bits of literature. So if you think about classic literature, which I highly, highly recommend you read to your children, unabridged classic literature, when you think about it, you read these long sections, which for children who might not quite be yet ready to sit through long sections of chapters of classical literature, poetry can do 10 times as much in a short period of time. So, for instance, if you are just starting with homeschooling and your children drone and whine about how horrible it is to sit through a single chapter of a book, poetry is your place to start. Within poetry, you will find a rich vocabulary because the poems are just like the classic literature. The authors are sharing their experiences through words to you. And because of that, poetry is nice and short, and your children will learn to enjoy it over time because it is perfect for short attention spans. So I know a lot of people are new to homeschooling, are just bringing their kids home, and they want to do their best to improve their education. So this is what I want you to do. Start with, say, Robert Louis Stevenson's Garden of Verses. These are perfect short poems. Even if you have older kids, it's a great way to jump in because he sprinkles in some advanced vocabulary every now and then, but his poems are easy for the imagination to grasp and to picture, okay? One great way that you can do this, if you have children who like to build with blocks, if your children like to build with Legos, if you have children who enjoy drawing or painting or any of those types of things, it is really easy to incorporate things that they enjoy into poetry. So what you do is you pull out the medium that they like, whether it be Lego blocks, coloring, painting, or whatever, and you read them the poem. And while you're reading the poem, they can build something to represent the poem. So say it's Robert Louis Stevenson's The Swing, you can have them try to build a swing set, or they draw or paint the swing set. This is an easy way to take something your child enjoys and incorporate it into poetry to get them ready to interpret it in a way that they like. Now, poetry can also help save the day, or it can be squeezed into a busy day or a day maybe that you don't have that much time for homeschooling that day. So it can be really short. So at breakfast, maybe you pull out some poetry, and while they're eating, you're going to read them one or two poems. And super easy to do. You just ask them questions about the poems. Now, if that is something that intimidates you because you're not quite sure, in my book, A Year of Poetry Tea Time, it has a whole bunch of questions to get you started to understand how to ask questions. Because there's different poems. Some might tap into emotions. Some might have a story that it's telling. Some might be almost like in code, where your children will have to, and yourself maybe, have to like pick it apart and figure out what the poem means. So it's super duper simple. It can be done in 5 minutes or less, and you can feel like you've actually had a intelligent or in-depth conversation with your children. And that critical thinking skills are super important to be developing because that is not something that they're working on in the normal public school typically. Okay? What's also wonderful is that it builds connection. So when you're able to sit down and have those conversations with your children, asking like, hey, what do you think it means? What do you think the author meant when he said this? What do you think happened to the character and should they have done that? These are conversations that you can have with your children that will help build connection and bonds. Why? Because a lot of times when we are not spending a lot of time with our kids, or you're putting curriculum above relationships, you kind of take on a different role. Maybe your kids look at you as like distant and not really approachable. Maybe they look more at you as the teacher, especially if you've been homeschooling a long time or for a while. You know, you kind of take on that teacher type role, and the connection can kind of be lost there. So through poetry, being able to have a discussion with your children can fix those connections, build bonds to help you heal relationships that might be a little broken due to different things. So there are some major helps. What were they again? You don't have to use worksheets to do poetry. You can squeeze it in at any time in 5 minutes or less. It fits on hard days when you might have a lot of appointments or things, because also you can squeeze it in when you're out and about, because poetry is really you can print out some poems, fit a small book inside your purse, and that's like a perfect way to take it with you. And it helps you build connections and heal the bonds that you have between you and your children through simple and delightful conversations. So I hope some of those tips help you out, and we'll see you next time.